So I'll show you how we can generate map files after compiling our JavaScript and Sass. If you don't know about them, I will give you an example. So in frameworks like Angular and React, you can actually see your original code written in TypeScript or React Components JSX, even though the code that is being executed in JavaScript is the compiled version. So you can see the actual original representation of your compiled code and debug it in the browser, although that the code being executed is not your code that you written, it's compiled version. So there is actually a map between the compiled code and the original code, and the browser will match these together, so you can look at your original code and see and debug the behavior on your original code, not the compiled. So in the code this will make much more sense, so bear with me. So npm install and npm install this package called gulp-sourcemaps. This will generate source maps. I already installed it, so install it like this. And what I will do, oops, here, cost source map will require this. But before anything, let me just npm run dev. Let me show you the debugging process without source maps. So let me look at this section. We already have a section file, or section Sass will modify this section element, and this is actually what the result will look like. But if we click here, we will see our section.min. Well, imagine if this is like 200,000 line CSS, or not even 100 lines, even 1000 lines. I mean, it's still a lot. I mean, it's minified and uglified. I mean, this is not good. It won't help you debugging, and it won't help you why this have the color green or what blue, or what the or where from this color, or sorry, where I'm really tired. Where this color comes from. This won't help you at all, because this is not the original code you written. So I need, when I hover over an element and go to the source for this, I need to see the original code, not the compiled code. So this is what other frameworks do, so let's do it. First thing, you need to create hey, thank you. Anyway, so to start using the source map, so let me just show it to you. You will use the pipe function, then you will pass source map.init. This is how you start it. You can actually pass some configurations here. Oh, thank you, man. Or you can or you can just call it to start creating or generating the map files. This is how I understood it. Then after you finish doing your tasks in other plugins, you will write it. By default, this write function will write a comment inside the compiled CSS or JavaScript that tells the browser what are the source or the original code for this file. So let's try it. Let me just remove the, because I don't need the browser to open up. So let's go to our main CSS. We have the source map. Let's now make our browser open up. I mean, I should have done it from the start, sorry, but yeah. Let me, still starting, okay. I think we are importing the minified version, so this won't work yet. So let's do that. Let's do this for the minified version. Let's call the init. After we grab everything, then let's just write it immediately after we clean it. So remember, we used to see sass.min.css. Now we see sass.scss. Let's click on that. We won't actually see it. because I believe we need to create a separate folder, I believe. I'm not quite sure, but to do this we can create a path here to tell it to create a separate file in the current directory, the destination directory. Just put here a dot, and that should be it. Also put it here so we can look at the output. Yeah, now it works when you create a separate file. So as you can see, this is the original code. This is why the color is darker blue, because it comes from this variable. So now it's help us debugging stuff. I know the color is darker blue, but I need to understand why. In the runtime, source maps will save us a lot of time. So let's do the same thing, the same stuff for the JavaScript. And this one will actually, you will see a bug, so bear with me, right? So after we grab all the JavaScript files, let's just init the source map, then let's write it at the same directory. And let me just show you something before we start, just to give you more context why the bug will appear. In our main.css, we will have a comment at the end mapping or telling the browser that, hey, go and look for this file. And this is a JSON file. As you can see, it's the same one here. This is the same name. Let me try to open it. The same name, okay? And this will have this array, which is called sources content. This is actually the Sass content that this file maps to. So this is very awesome, right? But remember that this comment needs to be here so the browser understand. Let's run it for JavaScript since we added here. We should see a comment, right? If we open it, let me, forget about this. Let me format it. We won't see a comment. Why is that? Because our minify JavaScript will uglify the code and remove the comments. So we will remove the source map comment that points to this map, which if you look at it, we will have the original code which start with const get data and whatever. So we can fix this by adding these by adding the source map to the minify code. So immediately after you get these files, and if you thinking about it, even after you uglify them, go and create the source map and write it in the same directory. But this will still, I think, this will still not work. So let's go to our main. We have our, this won't work correctly. It will work, but not correctly. Let me just show you. I'm really sorry, I'm just tired, that's why I'm not that focused. But in our console we have an error. This is from the previous video. I forgot to remove this function. And so let me console log the function itself, so I can show you the source map. So now we can see it. So it's telling us this output coming from main.javascript. Let's open it, and this is actually the source map. Let me prettify it. I mean, this is not the original code, right? So let me show you the map we have. It's actually the minified code. Why is that? Because we regenerated a source map with the same name after uglifying the main code here, and this source map is generated from the minified file here, but we don't need that. We need the source map to be generated from the original JavaScript file here. Then we will generate a file from that map file, then link it here. So to do this, there is actually I think it's called gulp source maps, but there's a property you can pass here to stop it from, let me just source or load, I think, load maps. This will tell it not to generate a new map, just load it, and that's it. So let me remove everything. and let me just explain to you the workflow before starting everything. So in the compiling JavaScript, here we will get every JavaScript file. We'll create a source map for it. This is the original JavaScript files. Then we will write them in the destination folder. Now when we try to minify them, this init will see, hey, we are only loading the original map files that we have with the same name, right? We won't override them, we won't do anything. So this won't override the map files that have the original code with the minified one. So this should work. I mean, I'm sorry, I know this is confusing, but you will face these kind of stuff in your development. So let's now show you this. This should start with const get data of whatever. Now if I looked into our code, we should see it, but if we actually, yes, so anything that have this sm in the brackets, just go for it with the same name. So this is the code, this is the original. As you can see, it's the same exact original code we wrote. This is how frameworks do it. They have map files, but usually they put it inside a comment at the end, not pointing to another file, whatever, same result. It's really interesting. This will help you debugging. I think that will be it for this video. I will show you in the next one how we can execute shell commands. Since this is a node environment, we can execute shell commands on the operating system. I will show you extremely simple one, and I will show you how we can create not just not just stream based gulp tasks. We can create promise based, which is very easy. And actually, yeah, I think that will be it, and thank you for watching.